The term anti-Semitism is a word that's often debated online. People always talk about, you see very often people from Middle Eastern countries. They'll say, how can I be an anti-Semite? I'm a Semite as well, right? I come from the same background. I'm also Semitic. So the word anti-Semite, it's the word itself is a newer word. It was coined back in 1897 by a German journalist who was trying to find a term, a way of defining anti-Semitism that's not connected to religion. He was trying to disconnect anti-Semitism from the Jewishness, from the religion part of it, and make it more about a racial thing, to kind of a way to explain it, to make it. They created at that time the League of Anti-Semitism, of Anti-Semites. League of Anti-Semites was what they created at that time. So this is where the term anti-Semitism comes from. But the ideas behind anti-Semitism and the ideas of anti-Semitism in general are nothing new. They actually go all the way back in our history to the very beginnings of our history, going back as far as this week's Torah portion. We have in this week's Torah portion, Yaakov travels to his uncle at that time, Lavan. Lavan was the brother, his mother's brother, Rivka's brother. She was the father of his future wives, of Rachel and Leah, Rachel and Leah. This guy was very intimately connected and had a very strong connection with the Jews at that time, right? He's Yaakov's father-in-law. He's Rivka's brother. Like every good anti-Semite, they say, me? How can I be an anti-Semite? My best friend's Jewish. My dentist is Jewish. My lawyer is Jewish. So Lavan is categorized as the first and one of the biggest anti-Semites in history. We're going to focus today on a different anti-Semite in history, a different biblical anti-Semite, and this is Bilam. Who was Bilam? So at the time, the Jewish people came out of Egypt. They received the Torah. They wandered the desert for 40 years. It was finally time for the Jewish people to enter the land of Israel. They came up to the land of Israel. They were coming up to the borders. They already successfully overpowered the two great, strong kings of Sichon and Og. These two people were meant to be the gatekeepers. They were meant to be the protection for the people of Canaan, to make sure that the Israelites, the Jews, can't enter. They were meant to protect the land, and they fell so easily, so quickly, that the people realized it was just a matter of time. It was all going to be over. The king of Moab at that time, his name was Balak. Balak realized that he cannot fight this war with conventional means. It wasn't going to work. He needed to find another way of fighting against the Jews. And so he realized the only thing he could do is to try to fight a spiritual war. And so he reached out to a famous sorcerer by the name of Bilam. Bilam lived hundreds of miles away in the neighboring country of Midian. He reached out to Bilam and said, Bilam, I need you to come and curse the Jewish people. Now, for Bilam, this was not a business transaction. As much as there was a lot of money involved, he was being offered a lot of money to come and do it. That was not his motivation. He was actually very happy to have the opportunity to curse the Jews. He was an anti-Semite to the extreme. And he was jumping on the opportunity to the point that he was willing to go against God's wishes, when he knew it was against God's wishes, to go and travel hundreds of miles to go join Balak in Moab and to curse the Jewish people. But as we know, he was not very successful. Every time he tried to curse the Jewish people, God always stepped in and had him switch it over to a blessing instead. He tried once, he tried a second time, he tried a third time. Every time he tried to find a way to curse the Jews, it didn't work. God always got in the way and disturbed him from accomplishing the task that he was trying to do. Finally, after these 3 attempts, God comes to Bilam with a vision. And Bilam, he looks out and he sees the people. He was on a mountain overlooking where all the people were encamped below. He looks down at the Jewish people and he gives a beautiful prophecy about the future of the Jewish people, about the future redeemer of the Jewish people. One of the most beautiful and the very first prophecy we have about the future redeemer, about the Mashiach. And this is what he says. I see it, but it is not now. I behold it, but it is not close. A star-like figure rises from Jacob, and a staff of global authority will arise from Israel, who will crush the princes of Moab and uproot all the wicked people on earth, who are all descendants of Shais, son of Adam. The world superpower represented by Edom shall be possessed by King Mashiach, and its capital city Seir shall become the possession of its sworn enemies, which are the Jews, and the Jewish nation will triumph. A ruler shall come out of Jacob and destroy the remnant survivors of the city, leaving no trace of evil on earth. This is the prophecy of Bilam, where he prophesies about the future Redeemer who is going to redeem the Jewish people and bring them out of exile. The question is asked, though. We've had so many wonderful, good people, tzaddikim, holy people, messengers of God, great prophets throughout our history, so many wonderful people who were godly, who were connected with God, and a great people to pass on God's message. From all those wonderful people, who did God choose as the messenger? The one who is going to deliver this beautiful message about the future redemption, about Mashiach? The very first prophecy we have about Mashiach, who did he choose to be the messenger? This low anti-Semite Bilam. That's who was chosen as the person to give over this wonderful message. He had no better choice. That was the best God could come up with. Why did he choose to send this message, to send this prophecy through Bilam? And so for this we have in the writings of Rabbi Yitzchak Abarbanel. He was a medieval philosopher, a statesman, a biblical commentator. He lived in the 15th century, and he wrote as follows. He explains as follows. The first good harbinger of our salvation to be heard was Bilam, son of Beor. Although originally a sorcerer, intent on using his powers against the Jews, the Spirit of God rested upon him and manifested in his prophecy, in order that he, as a popular prophet of the non-Jews, speak positively about the Jewish people and publicize God's awesome deeds among the nations that he performs towards his nation and his pious ones. His prophecy of the Jewish redemption was akin to an evil prosecuting angel who was forced to confirm what is righteous against his will to answer Amen. In other words, the Abarbanel is explaining over here that it's no fluke, it's no mistake, it's no accident that Bilam was the one who was chosen to give over this prophecy about the Jewish people. This is very much by design. This was God's intention, that this message should come specifically from Bilam. It shouldn't come from Moshe Rabbeinu. It shouldn't come from one of the great prophets of the Jews. It should come from them. They should be the ones to release the message, to let everybody know, to let the nations know that the future is going to be a Redeemer coming to Israel. And believe it, because it's not them saying it. It's not coming from a great rabbi who's giving over the message. It's coming from Bilam, the great anti-Semite himself. He's the one who's talking about this amazing thing that's going to happen in the future. The difference between Balak and Bilam was Balak had an excuse. He had a great explanation. He was worried the Jewish people were approaching. He needed, as the king of the land, he has a responsibility to protect his nation by whatever means. He has to do whatever he has to do to make sure his nation stays safe. He had great cover for his anti-Semitism. But Bilam had no excuse. Bilam had no explanation. He had no good explanation why he was getting involved there. Bilam, it was pure, clear, naked anti-Semitism without any cover, without any trying to block it and trying to make it feel like it's not real. He was straight and clear. This is who I am. This is what I'm about. That was Bilam. In modern times, unfortunately, we have an abundance of anti-Semites. And very often, those anti-Semites will try to hide their anti-Semitism. They will try to give excuses and say it's not anti-Semitism. I love Jews. My lawyer's a Jew. My doctor's a Jew. My neighbor, everything's great. I have no problem with Jews. My problem is they do this, they do that. Always find something. They run Hollywood. They run the press. They run everything. They run the world, right? We all know this. We're the ones that are running the world. Bilam comes and says, it's all unmasked. This is who I am. This is what it's all about. And the message is coming from Bilam. He is coming and saying that the Mashiach is coming. He is going to change the world. He is going to redeem the Jewish people. And he is going to be the one who is going to make the world a whole new reality. And this is why Bilam was the one who was chosen to give over this message. It was specifically given through Bilam, through the anti-Semite, to deliver this important message about the future of Israel. When we face anti-Semitism today, there's different responses that people will have. Some people, the response is to hide, to lay low, don't rock the boat, don't let anybody know that I'm Jewish, try to, go under the radar. Others will take the opposite approach and say, no, we have to go out and fight them. We have to go and show the world that I'm Jewish and I'm going to do and I'm going to be proud and flaunt your Jewishness in public. These are both not the right approach. This is not the correct approach. The message here is, when Mashiach comes, what is going to happen, as we spoke about in the Tanya class? What is going to happen when Mashiach comes? The negativity of the world, the tumah, the impurity, the klipa of the world is going to be transformed, and all the evil is going to be removed. There'll be no more evil in the world. The spirit of impurity will be removed from the world. Not just from the Jews, from the non-Jews as well. All the evil will be eradicated. The world will become pure and clean and fresh. This is what Mashiach is all about, the eradication of evil. And so the proper way to stand up to anti-Semitism, the proper way to show that I am a proud Jew, is by standing for what Judaism really is and Judaism really stands for. Judaism is about being Jewish. It's not about eating bagels and lox and cream cheese. It's about having the Jewish identity, following the mitzvot, studying Torah, connecting with God, connecting with what it's all about. And so the proper response to anti-Semitism is to strengthen our resolve and to strengthen our observance of Torah mitzvot. Put up a mezuzah, light a menorah, light Shabbat candles, put on tefillin, go to a Torah class. Find a way to strengthen your connection to Torah mitzvot. And in this way, we're truly fighting everything that anti-Semitism is all about. And we're strengthening our connection to our Jewishness, and we're bringing about the future when Mashiach comes, when the evil will be eradicated. The world will be a pure place without any inkling of negativity, of impurity, of unholiness. In the world, it will all be removed, and we'll be able to live in peace, in tranquility, in prosperity forever with Mashiach. May it happen speedily in our days.